It is Gale right here, back on the channel once again, and today we are here with another video on Genshin Impact. And well, you guys can see by the title who it's about, but just a fair warning, this is obviously going to contain information about leaks and stuff, obviously with the help of Honey Impact. Big shout outs to them. And of course, if you guys want to avoid it, click off the video right now. You guys won't be spoiled on any information about the character we're discussing. And hopefully you go on to enjoy the video. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, comment down below what do you guys think about the character's kit, and hopefully you guys stick around if you guys are interested in it. But yeah, let's get right into it. I decided to stay on Jangling because the character we're comparing her to is going to be in this, and that is Thoma. Obviously, it's still in beta process. Things will change, maybe even today. By the time this video goes up, there will be a change to him. So I will try and update you guys with shorts and whatnot, depending on the changes. So, of course, if you guys are interested, and like I said, subscribe. You guys will get notified as to when there is a new video. And yeah, so he is a 4-star polearm. He is probably, most likely even, the only new character coming in the next update, which is a surprise because usually they have 5 stars as the new characters usually, or if there's no new characters, it's just... Well, actually, no, I lie. I lie a big time. I forget, Rosaria was a new 4-star that we got in 1.4, and both the banners on there were reruns. It was Venti and Child, of course, so... Never mind that, I lied. Rosaria was a previous polearm that we obviously got as the only new 4-star, so I take everything I just said right back there. But yes, Thoma, 4-star polearm user. Obviously, we had various interactions with him since the start of 2.0 to 2.1 in the story, the main Archon quest. So let's have a look at him. So obviously, he has a usual stats progression with a increasing ascension stat in attack percent, which is very interesting to me considering what he does. He obviously uses the new material you will find in the new island, it seems like. But yeah, one thing I wanted to check, it's why I have pulled up all 4-star Pyro characters. I would compare him to some other 4-star characters, but I think the 4-star Pyro characters will give us a good indication of where he stands. So if you look at his base attack, so we have Zhangling's base attack, which is 225. Amber's is 223. Bennett is 191. Xinyan, sorry, is 249. I was gonna say Xingshe. Yanfei is 240. Now let's look at Thoma. Thoma is 202. He's one of the lower base attack stats. He's not the lowest by any means of the imagination. That goes to Bennett. But Thoma does have a low attack stat. And of course, he does scale off. Well, he doesn't scale off. We'll come on to what he scales off in a second. But his ascension stat is attack percentage. So it's very interesting to see where they've gone with him in regards to this. Of course, we see Bennett. He's focusing on energy recharge because that's his MO. He's a support. So it's fine with him having a low base attack. But then you look at, let's look at Thoma's other stats as well. Base 751. Zhangling, base 669, sorry. Amber 601. Bennett 771. Xinyan 799, obviously being a shield unit, very useful. And Yanfei is 587. So obviously Thoma does have a higher base defense compared to his other compatriots. But that's also because that is his MO. It seems like they're building him up to be a support unit, which makes it very weird that they've given him an attack percentage increase rather than, let's say, HP or ER or anything else other than that, or EM even. And so I'm very curious to see how exactly his kit is built as a result of that. Obviously, his HP is still on the lower side compared to Zhangling, higher than Amber, of course, lower than Bennett by miles, lower than Xinyan, and higher than Yanfei. So very mixed bag in terms of the base stats, of course. But again, you know, base stats, not necessarily the end of the world. You know, you obviously focus on what ascension stat he has, as well as artifacts. So, you know, we'll just quickly progress on from there. So his normal attack is pretty much very similar to Zhangling, where it is exactly identical, I think, even. So it lunges forward the charge attack, which is exactly the same. Sorry, missing all around. I'm going everywhere. I'm going to close Amber, Bennett, Xinyan, and Yanfei for now. And we'll focus on Thoma and Zhangling because they're very similar in terms of obviously being two polearms, both Pyro. Going to be interesting to see where they stand. So normal attacks wise, very identical. Don't need to talk too much about that. It is what it is, I think. I mean, there's not much of a thing we can talk about there. Next up, we have Blazing Blessing. So Thoma uses the tip of his spear as a pivot to channel flames and perform a kick that deals AoE pyro damage and unleashes a defensive blazing barrier. At the moment it is unleashed, the barrier will grant Thoma a pyro infusion. Ooh, if he can be a pyro infuser with his polearm actually being a pyro infusion for set amount of time, that would be cool, but it doesn't seem like that. Otherwise they would have mentioned, oh, the pyro infusion lasts XYZ seconds or something like that, right? Or an X amount of seconds, which they haven't mentioned here. The damage absorption of the barrier is based on Thoma's max HP. Again, another reason why I'm so confused as to why they've gone attack percent rather than anything else, like ER percent, EM, not attack, HP percentage, anything would have worked with him apart from attack percentage. It's so weird that they've gone for that. The Blazing Barrier has the following traits: absorbs pyro damage to 50% more effectively, and then the remaining damage absorption of an existing Blazing Barrier will stack, and its duration will be refreshed if another Blazing Barrier is obtained during this time. The maximum damage absorption of the barrier will not exceed a certain percentage of Thoma's max HP. So the max shield absorption can go up to 55.86% at level 15. The CD is 15 seconds and the shield duration is 8 seconds. We'll see if any constellations with that, because it does mention that you can stack it. Of course, based on that cooldown, it's way too high. The cooldown is ridiculously high for no reason. 15 seconds is way too much for a barrier that doesn't... The biggest problem I have here, right, is you see what the shield damage absorption is. Let's say you're at level 8. Let's take level 8 because this is what you're going to get him to most likely for a long period of time, which is 888 until you can farm Senora Mats, because if I'm not mistaken, he will use Senora Mats for talent levels, of course. So you're gonna get him to C8, level 8 basically, and then with constellations probably level 10, level 11. You're gonna get 11% of his max HP, which is around, give or take, let's say you have him, his base HP is 10,000, get him up to like say 18,000, 20,000 through his artifacts, say 20,000, and then you get 11% of that, which is 2,000. You're gonna get hit for a lot more than that from anything, and it's gonna be a bit more than that. It's 3,300, let's say, right? You're gonna get hit by that, especially in Abyss and stuff. It's not gonna be the most useful. Magu can ignore the bosses, because Magu can keep hypostasis. All of that will just demolish your shield. It's not even a question, right? But even for average opponents, that's gonna still do a decent chunk of damage to your shield, which is more making me again more curious as to why they went down that route. And especially with the cooldown being so high, 15 seconds, it's not necessarily the best. Again, it depends on his pyro infusion. If it's on hit only, because it says at the moment it is unleashed, the barrier will grant Thoma pyro infusion, so I assume it's only on hit. I don't know if I'm very happy with that, because a lot of people were saying, oh, you know, he'll be able to replace Zhang Ling, which I don't know if that's gonna happen, because based on the E, I'd still prefer to take Zhang Ling easily, because obviously one of the constellations she has is, of course, Gooba will leave a chili pepper flame on Ascension, not even constellation, it's just an Ascension passive talent, right? So yeah, it's crazy. And then on top of that, whatever constellation she has. So to me right now, Thoma doesn't seem amazing on that basis. I don't know where he's standing. There's a lot of confusion, it seems like, going on between his abilities and his Ascension stat, and of course his current skill that he has. It's just like a mix and match of like whoever will throw everything at him and see if he works on anything, and it doesn't work that way necessarily. Next up we have his Q. Of course, Thoma spins his spear, slicing through his foes with roaring fires that deal AoE pyro damage and weave themselves into scorching panoply. Scorching panoply. The normal attacks of active characters affected by the scorching panoply will trigger fire collapses that deal AoE pyro damage and summon blazing barriers. One fiery collapse can be triggered every second. The blazing barriers created in this way are identical to those created by Thoma's elemental skill, Blazing Blessing, except in the amount of damage they can absorb. They absorb pyro damage to 50% effectively. The remaining will stack, and of course the maximum damage won't exceed. If Thoma falls, the effects of Scorching Panoply will dissipate. So obviously the shield damage absorption is way less compared to his E, and the shield duration is exactly the same. The Scorching Panoply lasts for 15 seconds. Curious to see how this does, because this seems very interesting. Of course, it's in every second you can trigger a fiery collapse, right? So say you're having Tartaglia, because Tartaglia is one of Zhang Ling's best partner, or Zhang Ling is one of Child's best partners, and you want to use Tartaglia with Thoma now instead, right? You could potentially do it. You could trigger Vaporize quite easily as a result of it, obviously with the fiery collapse every second. It's going to be a bit slow though, however, I feel. I'm not sure exactly how slow it could be, because obviously you're attacking, and you know, the amount of attacks you do in a second can be quite high, relatively at least. It won't be like 50 attacks in 1 second, but you know, it's a decent pace, right? So it depends on how quickly you see the animation for this fiery collapse and how quickly will it trigger that vaporize effect. And on top of that, this brings me back to my same point again. Are you going to be using him for a shield unit or as a shield unit, or are you going to be using him as a reaction unit? Because it seems like they're trying to set him up to be well, initially you think he's setting up to be the reactor, so he's going to be the infuser for Pyro, and then you can go into Child. But the way they're making him, it seems like you're gonna get the vaporize after you attack even. So it's like he's the one dealing that collapse damage, right? I'm weirdly like I don't know where to build him. Like I would say, you know, oh, you could go this way, you could go that way, and it's like very straightforward. You could go with this set, which is kind of cool that he's able to do so many different things. But the question is he going to be able to do all of that efficiently? That's the point I'm trying to make there. So it's going to be very curious to see, is he going to be able to do everything well, or is he going to do everything but nothing at the same time? So he's going to be a jack of all trades but a master of none, or is he going to be a jack of all trades and a master of all? Obviously, you know, expectations aren't going to be too high. He is a 4-star, so I would say he's probably going to be able to do everything but not extremely well. But we'll see. We shall see. Curious to see what you guys think about his skills. Let me know in the comment section down below, because I'm curious, because I don't know if it's just me trying to figure out like where he's best placed as. And obviously I personally think he'll probably be a better shield unit compared to Xinyan. I think that's completely fine. Actually, let me pull up Xinyan, because Xinyan, the biggest thing with Xinyan and the issue with Xinyan for a lot of people, I think, is that she is quite more physical orientated than Pyro orientated, right? So to me, I think obviously for Thoma to be a Pyro user as well as a shield user, I think that'll help a lot of teams as well and be a bit more useful compared to Xinyan. But yeah, I'm curious to see what you guys think in the comment section down below. So of course, this talent ascension material relies on treasure hoarders material, and if I'm not mistaken, which one is this? Transience, philosophy of transience. So same materials as Yoimiya's and Kokomi's, of course. So very straightforward in that regards. Obviously, crown, you'll need that, obviously. Free Fisher. Successful fishing attempts in Inazuma have a 20% chance of scoring a double catch. We have our first fishing talent user. Okay, we gotta summon for that. Come on now. I mean, especially if you have Raiden and you're trying to get pufferfish and all. This would be so nice, bro. This would have been so nice. Imbricated armor. When obtaining or refreshing a blazing barrier, the current active character's shield strength will increase by 5% for 6 seconds. This can be triggered every 0.3 seconds, and max is 5 stacks. Okay, very interesting. That actually is kind of nice. That is very, very good. Again, it just is very curious because, again, Blazing Barriers cooldown is quite high. It is quite high. So I'm very curious to see it. And how are you going to be able to do it? Because is it going to be like, oh, you go from Blazing Barrier into your Q, into your blazing barrier again? Maybe that's how you do it. Maybe that's how you can get these stacks up. Potentially, that might be a strategy. Flaming Assault, the damage dealt by Crimson Oyori's firing collapse are increased by 1.5% of Thoma's max HP. Okay, so that does scale off his HP as well at a certain ascension, which is good, which means that you're going to orientate towards more of an HP stat HP stat artifacts more so, it seems like. Again, why have they given him an attack percent substat? I don't understand. The ascension stat, I do not understand. Okay, so Friend's Duty, C1. Let's look at Constellation. So we have C1. When a Blazing Barrier takes damage for any character other than Thoma's own Blazing Blessing CD decreases by 3 seconds, while his own Crimson Oyori CD is decreased by 3 seconds. This effect can be triggered once every 20 seconds. Okay, that's good. I like that, because again, cooldowns need to be decreased, man. It's good. Very, very good. So you're gonna probably use go into Thoma, go out into another character, and boom, you'll get hit at least once. That will decrease Thoma's cooldown as well, which is good. Which is very, very good. Truth Staff increases Crimson Oyori's duration by 3 seconds. Again, very good. Level 3, that's fine. C4. When a fiery collapse from Crimson Oyori hits an opponent, Thoma will restore 0.4 energy Again, okay, so yeah, no, it's very evident from his constellations how he's going to go. You're going to be using his E into Q into E again, and basically back and forth between his E and Q, it seems like. Obviously acting as a bit of a support. Very straightforward. I think that's pretty obvious as to how this is going now. When a blazing barrier is obtained or stacked, the damage dealt by normal charge plunging attacks of all party members is increased by 15% for 6 seconds. That is really good, actually. That is really good. Ah, that is actually very, very nice. I think that's going to be really good for your units such as Tartaglia and whatnot. Tartaglia, Zhao, probably Ganyu even, arguably, especially with the charge shots, right? So, no, this is actually really good. His constellations improve him drastically. I think he's going to be a really decent unit. I definitely don't think he's going to be the best 4-star pyro user. I still think that goes to Yanfei or even, I'd say, Zhangling. I think it's too difficult to overtake them. But he will still be extremely good in certain situations. Initially, it does seem like he's a bit of dog water, but you kind of have to play around with him. And if you take him in the right direction, I think he'll be really good. Weapons-wise, I think you want to go with something with attack percent maybe on him. Or HP percent. I don't think there is a weapon with HP percent. Probably attack percentage just so that it can get some damage off. Let's look at some polearms here maybe. Oh, we've got some weapons that are not been shown off. Let's see what these are. So this is the side. We don't know when this is coming. Basically, this is a weapon that's or that's just not here yet. So we're just gonna have to wait for it. But this one, however, this looks like we're getting it soon. So let's look at this. For every point of the entire party's maximum energy, the elemental burst damage of this character equipping is increased by 0.12%. A maximum 40% increased elemental burst damage can be achieved this way. This is a pull. Wow, very nice. No, this is actually really good. This can help Thoma, especially with his fiery collapse damage, especially, right? I think at least that would be the case. 620 attack. Ooh, that's probably one of the highest I've seen in a while. I'm pretty sure that's the highest. And 13.8% substat. I think that is the highest I've seen in any polearm. Pretty sure. Or one of the highest 4 stars. I'm 4-star wise. 4-star wise. Yeah, it just seems like everything has 44, 40, 42. So yeah, it's probably one of the highest ones. Obviously, 5 stars is kind of harder to say, especially if we look at Primordial Jade Spear. It is 674. So definitely better for more 4 stars. Outside of that, I think you would probably use, I'm trying to see. Engulfing Lightning, technically, Raiden's weapon wouldn't be the worst, especially because he uses his burst so much. Technically, not a bad choice. Staff of Homa, of course, if he's going to be HP percent or HP percentage oriented, or scaling off HP, you're going to be using this quite a lot. Staff of Homa, yet again, what a weapon. What an absolute banger of a weapon. I think obviously everybody would love this weapon. Vortex Vanquisher, not necessarily something you'd be using quite often, but not a bad option either, I would say. I think it would be between these 3. I don't know if you'd be using Primordial Jade Spear or Skyward Spine. Probably these 3. And then in terms of 4 stars, like I said, probably Wavebreaker's Fin. If it releases right after, if it releases alongside Thoma. And outside of that, maybe the Catch, obviously a good option with the ER, especially on the substat. Very, very nice, of course. And outside of that, what else would you use here? I'm trying to look at some of these options. Black Cliff Pole, Deathmatch, not bad options. Again, very, very decent options here and there. But yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. Let me know in the comment section what weapon do you guys think would be best for Thoma. I would choose between one of those weapons, basically, in my my best guess. In terms of artifact sets, what would you use? I'm leaning towards one, and that's Tenacity, man. I think Tenacity is probably the way to go. We've got HP 20% increase, which is good again. And then you got a 4-piece, which is when his elemental skill hits an opponent, which he'll be using quite a lot of. The attack of all nearby party members is increased by 20%, and their shield strength is increased by 30%. Very good. Again, very, very good. So I definitely think Tenacity is probably the best option. You could also technically think, if you think about it, if you're aiming to get that damage off as well, Crimson Witch is also still a great option for any fire user, or pyro user, I should say, right? So yeah, I would say either one of those 2. I don't think, maybe Retracing Bolide isn't the worst either. quite frankly speaking. But you probably won't be using this either way because you're not using his normal charge attack damage at all. So yeah, like I said, I think Tenacity and Crimson Witch is his best option. You could theoretically also go for Severed Fate, but I think that would be like maybe a third option in my personal opinion, even over Retracing Glide. So yeah, I would say Tenacity, Crimson Witch, and then Severed Fate. But yeah, let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about the character itself? Do you like him? Will you be summoning for him if he's on, say, a better, a potentially good rerun banner? Because we're assuming it's going to be rerun banners. It's looking like it's Hu Tao confirmed, and then the second unit is between Ganyu and Tartaglia. I've been hearing more Tartaglia recently. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think? Of course, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, comment down below, like I said, your thoughts, and I will see you guys in tomorrow's video, which should be, if I'm not mistaken, be, do you think Raiden Shogun needs buffs? But until then, catch y'all next time. Take it easy, everybody. Bye bye.